The migrant crisis, as it's been called, is certainly a charged subject. I myself live here in New York City and I see firsthand what's going on. I see the migrants out on our street and I see how it's affecting our city. As a human being, when problems come our way, we want to get rid of the problems. We want to eradicate them as quickly as possible and solve them. So many people are saying, let's just deport them. Actually, Donald Trump is even saying when he gets into office, he's going to do this mass deportation. Is that really something we can do? Is that something he'll be able to do? Let's get something out of the way. The way that this has been handled with the migrant situation has been a complete mismanagement of duties and responsibilities throughout many levels of government, specifically the federal government. I think we all could agree on that. This could have been handled a lot better rather than just allowing a mass migration of people to come into this country. Even if we did have a system where we can accommodate and had all the things in place to handle a mass migration of people, you can't just let anybody in. You have to vet people. You have to make sure there's not criminals, not enemies of the state coming in. So there's no denying the fact that the way that this has been done has been completely mismanaged and mishandled. It's a demonstration of a really terrible job that our leaders are doing right now, and they've dropped the ball on this one. And then when you question them, they say, hey, you're the problem. You're being bigoted and racist for not wanting these people to come in. No, do not be fooled, fellow Americans. These people are not doing their jobs properly, and we need to hold them accountable for not doing their jobs. But that's politicians for you. We seem to do a really good job at voting people into office that do a really bad job at the job that we've given them. Be that as it may, we're not here to talk about the government. We're here to talk about the migrants and what we as a society and as citizens of the United States can do about it. America is the most open country in the entire planet when it comes to immigration by far, when we are even doing it legally. Of course, the way it's being done now is not smart, and we need to be smart about it. You're letting people into your home, into your community. You want to make sure they're good people. You want to make sure they're people who could get along with you, who align with their values, that they're not criminals, that they're not crazy people. And you want to make sure that they are willing to adopt the principles and the values of freedom that we hold dear as American citizens. So, having said all that, we are in this predicament. So what do we do about it? The quickest answer is just deport them all. But is that something that could really happen? Could we really just mass deport them all? You may say, well, they're here illegally, so they should be deported. But are they here illegally? They've been let in by the Border Patrol. They were bused to cities like New York. They were given a place to stay in New York. And they've been fed ever since. In no part of this process were they told, hey, you're here illegally, but we're going to take care of you and bus you into our cities and give you a place to stay anyway. On the federal and state governments, throughout the whole process of them arriving here up until now, they have not been told that they're illegal, and they certainly have not been shown it. Quite the contrary, actually. So can we really say that they're illegal if the federal and state governments of this country have shown them otherwise? I know you're also seeing a lot of reports and saying they're giving them luxury hotels to stay in, they're feeding them every day, and they're living the American dream, and they're being given all this welfare. Yeah, they might be staying in a hotel that was once a luxury hotel, but they're crammed into these small spaces on little small cots, sleeping next to each other, almost like a refugee camp.
It's packed onto a New York City sidewalk outside the Roosevelt Hotel on Tuesday.
It's not a pretty situation. Living here in New York and seeing it firsthand, they're not living in luxury. This is not something that they expected and not something that they wanted in coming here. And you might think, well, good for them. They shouldn't have expected the red carpet to be rolled out for them. They shouldn't have expected all this welfare and handouts. Many of them don't. Many of them came here to live the American dream. Many of them came here to work and to make a life for themselves. Let's just imagine when Donald Trump gets back into office, he says, all right, we're just going to mass deport them. Imagine the scene and the scenario that's going to play out. Parents being torn from their kids, people crying as they're being forced by ICE agents in handcuffs across the border after spending months here being taken care of by our governments, just to be told that now they have to go back to a country where they have no opportunities, where they have to live in violence and they have to live in governments that are dictatorships. They were this close to the American dream being fulfilled, and we are snatching it away from them. Think about all the civil rights organizations that will be fighting this, the state governments, the local city governments that will be fighting with the federal governments. Think about the media who will be filming all this, eating it all up, saying, see, Trump is a tyrant. Look what he's doing to these poor families. Look at how he's a dictator, taking all of these people out of here. It's going to be a PR nightmare for Donald Trump should he do this. It's going to be a nightmare for all of us. Most of us are not going to like the sight we see. So mass deportation is really not an option if we're being serious with ourselves. Again, as a human being, just like you, I want to solve the problem in the most easiest way. And that is the most easiest way. Just tell them to go back home. You weren't supposed to be here. This was a mess up on our government's part. But this is our government, which we are citizens of, and our government has allowed them to come in here and told them that they're here to stay. So a mass deportation, should it even be attempted, would be over just as soon as it started. So what can we do? Realistically, what can we do? The most important thing that we should do, first and foremost, is have them adopt American values. We need to incorporate them into our system. That means they need to adopt the Constitution. They need to adopt freedom and the values that we stand for. Of course, we as America right now are having our little identity crisis. So how are we going to have migrants adopt our identity when we're having an identity crisis ourselves? That is a conundrum, but it also is an opportunity for us to stand up to the plate and become the strong America that we are, and incorporate these people into our system so that they can also themselves become strong, free Americans. And the more strong, free Americans that there are in this world, the more our values will spread to the rest of the world. And this is how American values will spread everywhere. And is that not what we really want? For everywhere to be America, for every country and every people on this planet Earth to adopt the values of freedom, democracy that we stand for and that is written in our Constitution. All right, so what can we do with them? Think about the reason why you don't want them here. How do you feel threatened? What do you think is going to happen? What is going to be taken from you that you believe keeping them here will cause? Is it maybe you don't believe that there are enough jobs, or there's not enough money to go around, or not enough food to go around, or not enough shelter to go around? If you look at the land in America, just the mass of it, we have plenty of room for a lot more people, millions of more, probably even a billion more people. I'm not saying that we should just let anybody in indiscriminately. Again, that's not the right way to do it. Having said that, there are many things that we need in this country. There are many areas that we need help with, and the migrants could actually help fill in the gaps. For example, construction is crazy expensive nowadays. I mean, to build anything, it costs so much money. We need more construction workers. What if we had a system in place that would help train these new migrants to be construction workers and to be added to the construction workforce? That would add the necessary labor that we need, lowering prices down. We have an affordable housing crisis across this whole country. People can't buy houses anymore. It's so expensive to rent. We need to build a lot more homes. We need those construction workers. If we could put a plan in place to have some training program, and it could only take a few months to train people on certain skills that then they could take and use in the workforce. These people want to be in the workforce. Most of them do. The people who don't want to be in the workforce and they do just want welfare and they do want to come here to do bad, yes, let's deport them. Let's get them out of here. Think about all the things surrounding construction. We have electricians, we have handymen. All of these things we are lacking in right now. South Park actually recently did an episode where they made fun of this. We're so short on handymen, the prices are so exorbitant. It's definitely a great episode.
Hey, I need a worker.
Is that a handyman?
I work at my house.
Randy, you know how to do stuff, right? I gotta get the radiant heat installed in my house, and I'm offering free legal advice in exchange.
You need a reporter? I'll report the news to you if you fix my shower tile.
How about a computer programmer? I can do coding.
Insurance broker? What the hell are you guys doing here? We're trying to get a handyman to do stuff for us.
But if we have 1 million more construction workers added to the workforce, think about the good that would do for this country. Think about how that would drive prices down. Think about the things we could build. We just need the right programs in place to get these people trained as soon as possible. We should have been doing it. Why aren't we doing it right now? We have a shortage in nurses in this country. If we add 100,000 nurses into the workforce, how much better would that be? We need more caretakers. We need more nurses in the workforce. Can we have a program in place where these people could get trained and join the workforce? This is what they want to do. They want to work. They came here to live the American dream. It just takes us to put the right programs in place. We have companies that could have some of these programs. We have the government agencies who could promote some of these programs and put some of these programs in place to get these people trained to be nurses and to be construction workers and to fill in these professions that we're really lacking on right now. And there is a lot. Now, the feds probably want to just use them to join the military because they certainly have said already that the quickest path to citizenship is join the military. So maybe that was their grand plan all along, but that has yet to be seen, and I digress. No, what we need to do is we need to get these migrants work visas. Not citizenship, not yet. You get work visas, you work, you join the programs, you show that you can adopt our values of freedom, that you're here to contribute to our country, to the good of it, to making it stronger, and that is your path to citizenship. You do that for several years and your visa turns into a citizenship. Simple as that. Yes, there's some people who are here to do bad. They're here to join gangs or they're already in gangs. We need to find those people and we need to root them out and we need to deport them as soon as possible. Sooner the better. And this is what the government agencies need to do now. It's good to be compassionate, yes. We are all human beings. These people are human beings. These people can become citizens with us. They can become Americans. This is what makes our country strong. But the ones who don't want to become Americans, who want to cause us harm and who want to give us problems, we have to root them out. One thing that this whole situation should show you is that the government could really solve any problem when they want to. For the longest time here in New York, there was always a homeless problem, and it was actually getting worse before the migrants got here. And the government's like, we're trying to solve this homeless problem. It's hard. It's not that simple. And then 150,000 migrants come here, and all of a sudden, ooh, we have all this space. Look, there's this empty building and that empty building. And they found the money. All of a sudden, we're getting the money, and we're even giving the migrants the money so that they could get food and that they could have shelter.
Each migrant will get about $13 a day, so it's not automatically $1,000 as it has been reported. It's supposed to go to only food and baby supplies. If it's abused, we would take those cards away.
They could have done that a long time ago with the homeless situation. They could have solved it in a week. Just like when push came to shove and they had all these migrants here, they found the places for them. They found the money. They found the way to make sure these people were fed and sheltered. Why weren't they doing that for the homeless people? This is politics for you. And this is what we as citizens need to fix, because we need to hold our governments accountable for these problems and to solve these problems. We need to hold them accountable and make sure that they're solving problems as we voted them in office to solve. Stop making excuses. Just like they can easily solve the problem, the solutions that I set out here are easy to solve. Everybody wants to put these people to work, and they want to get to work. So let's put things in place and programs to get them work visas so they could start working. Let's teach them American values. Let's let them learn about our Constitution and let them swear that they will uphold the Constitution of this country. Just as we have seen that when push comes to shove, the governments could solve any problem whenever they want, because when this migrant crisis came out, they found the money, they found ways to solve it very quickly. They found the space, they found the food, they found the money, and they're still feeding them, but they're just leaving them in limbo. So we can solve the problem. It's not that difficult. It just takes a willingness to go ahead and move forward with the policies to make it happen. And this is an opportunity for us as Americans to show how strong of a country we are and how quickly we can incorporate these people into our country, make them into Americans, make them strong, because them being strong will make all of us strong. And isn't that what we want? A strong America. Because when America is strong, the whole world is better off for it.